John Carpenter hints at a possible They Live sequel. Oh, hell fucking yeah. How's it going, everybody? This is Phil. So I'm over here on the flickerandmyth.com or flickerandmyth.com. There is no the if you go to the website, just www.flickerandmyth.com. And I saw this article, and man, I had to click into it. The writer here is Gary Collinson. So look, as somebody who grew up in the 80s, from about from 4 years old to 4 to 13, 4 to 14, the amount of movies that came out in that decade, between the Star Wars and the Indiana Joneses and the Back to the Futures, and the horror movies that came out, and I mean, there was just so much going on. It seemed like every year there was just these amazing genre films that came out, and they all seemed fascinating and unique and interesting, and just kind of brand new. It was just like, man, so look, somebody else told a different type of story. And as a kid, the 80s would like just fuel your imagination, like from one year to the next. I mean, it was always another movie coming out. And, one of the directors that was doing their thing in the 80s was John Carpenter, So, I mean, he was giving us fantastic movies. He delivered Big Trouble in Little China, which is just, what a masterpiece that is. Another movie that he gave us back in 1988 was They Live. And this is a big cult classic film at this point. I loved it back then when it came out. I was a preteen at that point. It just kind of resonated with me. I got some of the aspects of it as a child, as far as being manipulated through commercialism and advertising, and people kind of being taken for a ride, and what the glasses represented. And look, this was the red pill blue pill scenario. When Roddy Piper put these glasses on, that was the red pill. All right, and everybody was living a blue pill lifestyle. Nobody knew what was going on, and it's a fascinating movie. To be able to go back and explore this world that was set up all these years later really, really has me intrigued. Now, look, I'm not going to go into spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen the movie, but we all know that Roddy Piper has since passed away, so rest in peace. He would be impossible to make any kind of a return to this franchise. And we also have Keith David's character, and just the way the movie ended, it really kind of slammed the door shut on the protagonist. So it would have to be kind of a continuation, but a new story introducing new characters. It could be a television show too. a 10-episode show on like a Netflix or something like that. That would work as well. But more movies or more story that exists in this universe, I'm all for it. So let's go ahead and read through the article here. It says, having made his return to the Halloween franchise, executive producer and composer of the new reboot sequel from Universal Pictures and Blumhouse Productions, it seems that John Carpenter may be eyeing another sequel to one of his earlier works in the 1988 cult classic They Live. And I guess this is Carpenter goes on to say, well, I'm not going to tell you about that because it might be closer to reality than you think, Carpenter told Den of Geek when asked for his thoughts about refashioning of the sci-fi horror film. There was a feature film remake in development. It was a feature film called Resistance, written by, the guy who did the Apes movies, Matt Reeves. But then he moved on, and so the sequel is, well, we'll see. We'll just have to see. If you're unfamiliar with They Live, the film starred the late, great Roddy Piper as John Nada, a drifter who discovers that the world is being controlled by aliens who are masking their appearance and using the media to control mankind with subliminal messages. It also has one of the most glorious fight scenes in history between Roddy Piper and Keith David. I mean, it's like a 6-minute just drag out like brawl like you've never seen. If you've never seen this movie, go ahead and check it out. And that fight scene is just like, it's just the craziest thing. It goes on forever. It's a movie inside of a movie. It's just insane. Carpenter suggested this week that he could be tempted to get back behind the camera for the right project. Just to have him return behind the camera for They Live would just be like a dream come true. But of course, it's always possible that he could take a backseat and let another filmmaker could take over the reins, similar to David Gordon Green on Halloween. Or, given that he's recently hinted at a potential Prince of Darkness TV series, perhaps They Live could be in for the same kind of treatment on the small screen. So yeah, so as I was saying, it could find its way onto the small screen, which, the way TV is today and the production values that go into it, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Would you like to see a They Live sequel? Hell yeah. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And here is that classic meme, obey. So look, I'm all on board for this. Now, as with anything, there is some apprehension, and things, nostalgia has a way of letting things live on in your mind greater than they actually might have been. Of course, this movie isn't without its shortcomings, but it is a fantastic 1980s sci-fi / horror / comedy in parts type of movie. It does deserve, in my opinion, to be treated respectfully, and I would love to see it get further exposition and exploration and have this story continue to go on. I don't have a problem with that. I just, I need Carpenter to be on board with it. I just want the story to... it's kind of funny because you don't want to get bogged down with politics in this day and age, but this is a story that's made for politics, with the 1%ers and the fake news and everything that's been kind of thrown around and the political climate. This story could have a lot of commentary on just, the modern day era. I mean, this movie, this concept is kind of tailor made for it. So I think it could really find its place and be very, very interesting if they brought this concept back and gave us more of the They Live franchise. I'd really, really be interested in seeing how that franchise, what direction they take it in moving forward. If it does, in fact, get picked up for a new movie or some kind of a television show. So anyway, tell me what you guys think. Are you excited at the prospect for They Live? Do you think they should just leave it alone? Is this something that you always thought there was more story to be told? I always did. I always wondered what happened after they destroyed that transmitter signal and all of the aliens were exposed at the end of that movie. Or maybe that movie just left best as a one-off to let your mind kind of wander and fill in, with your imagination. But, everyone likes to see what comes next. So I'd be on board for it. I just need Carpenter there, and I hope that the story is just something that's really satisfying. And look, as a television show, there's a lot to explore, but I just, I don't want episodes that get bogged down with a lot of filler and a lot of nonsense, because part of the fun of this movie, being an 80s film, was just the violence and the action, and the gunplay, and it just, Roddy Piper running around with a shotgun and blowing people's heads off.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum. Oh, shit.
I mean, you just, that's part of the fun of this film. So, you can't lose the fun aspect of it. It can't, you can't be mired in too much commentary and politics and everything like that. It needs to be interesting. It needs to be fun, and it needs to kick some ass. Anyway, let's see what we get. Let me know what you guys think down below. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff that people usually ask at the end of a video. And I will talk to you guys sometime soon. Until then, have a great night. Be happy, be safe, be healthy. Take care.